A desperate cry tears through the mansion. Isadora freezes in the hallway. It's a sharp, relentless baby cry. She drops the cleaning cloth and runs. The sound comes from the back room. The door is ajar. Isadora pushes it open and steps in. A baby, no more than 6 months, red-faced, sweating, squirming in a crib with a dirty diaper. A fallen wooden toy on the floor, no nanny, no adult, just an abandoned child. "My God," she whispers, scooping him up with hands that know the rhythm of comfort. "Shh, my love, I've got you now." His sobs are still jagged, but they soften under the warmth of her chest. In one motion, she checks the diaper, gathers wipes, finds a clean one, and works quickly, expertly, the way someone does when caring is a language they learn too early. She hums a lullaby her mother used to sing, the kind whose melody carries a promise: "You are not alone. You were just hungry, weren't you?" She says, mixing formula, testing it on her wrist, settling into the chair. He latches, gulping like he has been waiting for hours, those big blue eyes locked on the first safe shore he has seen all day. By the time the bottle is half empty, the baby's body loosens. The tiny fists unclench. He studies her face like it is new light. She smiles back, soft and unguarded, and the room itself seems to exhale. "There you go," she murmurs. "You're okay." His lids grow heavy, flutter once, twice, then drift shut, the bottle sliding free with a sleepy sigh. Isadora tucks the blanket under his chin, memorizing the peaceful curve of his mouth, and wonders how anyone could leave a child like this, sweating and scared, alone. The door opens. A tall man in a flawless suit stands on the threshold. Dark hair, brown eyes, taking in everything. The cleaned-up crib, the bottle, the sleeping baby in her arms. Rafael Matarazzo, her boss. "What are you doing here?" His voice is cool, shaped by long practice at control. Isadora jolts upright, nearly dropping the bottle. "I'm sorry, sir. He was crying so hard. The nanny wasn't here. I only wanted to help." Rafael steps inside, looks at his son, at the trash where a soiled diaper now hides, at the serenity he has not seen in days. Something loosens in his chest, something he has been bracing against since grief took up residence in his ribs. "Where is Andrea?" he asks, knuckles tightening. "I haven't seen her since I arrived." He swallows anger with effort, the kind that tastes like metal. "Put him in the crib, please." Isadora obeys, laying the baby down with reverence, smoothing the small blanket. "I didn't mean to intrude," she says, backing toward the door. "He was just fine," Raphael says, but his gaze has shifted, seeing her for the first time not as background, but as the person who did what he and a highly paid professional could not. "Thank you." The word surprises them both. She nods, startled, and slips out, heart racing, sure she will be fired for caring too much. But what he does next will upend the house rules and the distance he keeps around his heart. Raphael watches his son sleeping more peacefully than he has in weeks, the small chest rising in steady rhythm. He turns back to the doorway where Isadora disappeared, her footsteps retreating like an echo he cannot shake. She was never supposed to matter. She was just a maid, someone hired to scrub floors and vanish into corners. But tonight, she carried his son with a certainty that cut through his grief. And that unsettled him more than he wanted to admit. The next morning, Miguel's cries fill the nursery again, thin and sharp. Raphael hurries in, trying everything, rocking, singing, even pacing the room, but nothing works. He feels helpless, clumsy, and then the door creaks. Isadora stands there, bucket in hand. "I can help if you want." He bristles. Pride claws at him, but the child's cries grow louder. "Please," she adds softly. He gives in. She cradles Miguel, tucks his tiny head against her shoulder, rubs slow circles on his back. Within a minute, the baby lets out a burp, then quiets, gazing at her with trust. Raphael stares, stunned. "How did you know?" She answers simply, "I raised my brothers. I had to learn." For the first time, Raphael listens. She tells him about losing her mother at 14, becoming mother and sister to Lucas and Marina. I didn't have a choice. Babies don't wait for you to figure things out. There's no self-pity in her voice, only fact. And something in Raphael shifts. He sees not just a maid, but a survivor who has carried weight he never imagined. You're good with him, he admits. She hands Miguel back gently. You just need more confidence. Babies feel what you feel. His son calms against his chest this time, as if her words lent him courage he didn't know he had. Over the following days it becomes routine. Miguel cries, and Isadora appears, offering quiet solutions. She teaches Raphael how to test formula, how to swaddle without tangling, how to recognize the cry of hunger versus the cry of fatigue. Little by little, Miguel begins to smile again, and Raphael feels a thread of something he thought was gone. Hope. Still, pride gnaws at him. He tells himself he only tolerates her presence for the baby's sake. But deep down, he knows it's more than that. One evening, as Raphael watches the baby monitor from his office, he sees her again. Isadora picks up Miguel after finishing chores, hums a soft lullaby, sways in rhythm. The baby relaxes instantly. Raphael leans back in his chair, rubs his face, overcome by the sight. Since Helena's death, he has been little more than a shadow, working, breathing, existing. But in the reflection of his monitor screen, he sees something terrifying. He sees life returning, and it is because of her. But allowing himself to feel again means risking a truth he has buried deep. 3 days later, the front door opens, and Raphael freezes when he sees her, Beatrice. Impeccable as always, blonde hair styled, clothes that scream wealth, a smile that never reaches her eyes. Rafa, she says, as if nothing ever happened, as if she hadn't left him when he needed her most. His stomach twists. What are you doing here? She slips past him into the living room, surveying the space like she still owns it. I heard you fired the nanny. I came to help. You can't do this alone. She introduces Carla, a woman in her 40s, sharp bun, stiff clothes, posture like a soldier. Carla cared for a diplomat's family, Beatrice insists. She's the best. Raphael listens, skeptical, but desperation presses on him. The baby has been restless. He needs help, and every agency candidate has been wrong. Carla answers every question with robotic precision, but when she holds Miguel, her arms are rigid, her smile forced. The baby cries louder. Raphael frowns uneasy. Still, he hires her because what choice does he have? He tells himself professionalism matters more than warmth. Isadora senses something off immediately. Carla does everything by the book. Feeds on time, changes diapers, puts Miguel to sleep, but without tenderness, without heart. Miguel resists her arms, squirms, wails. And Raphael, though he tries to ignore it, cannot unsee the difference. His son only smiles when Isadora is near. He tells himself not to depend on her, that lines must remain intact. Yet every moment betrays that thought. One afternoon, while dusting near the terrace, Isadora hears voices. She recognizes Beatrice and Carla speaking low. She pauses, cloth in hand, pretending to clean, ears straining. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock. You know what to do, Beatrice whispers. Carla hesitates. And if someone sees? No one will. The maid leaves in the morning. Security doesn't check staff leaving with a child. 50,000. Half now, half after. Isadora's blood runs cold. A kidnapping, a staged rescue. Beatrice would return as a heroine, reclaim Raphael. The sound of money exchanging hands seals it. The rag falls from Isadora's hand. She crouches, heart hammering. She should call the police. But who would believe her? She's just the maid, and they are powerful women with influence. Her word against theirs would mean nothing. If she warns Raphael, they could deny everything. No, there's only one option. She must stop them herself. She returns to cleaning on autopilot, her mind a storm. That night, sleep doesn't come. She stares at the ceiling, replaying the whispers, the plan, the risk. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock. It will be her against them, and what she decides could mean life or death for the child she has come to love. The next day, Isadora arrives early, 7 in the morning, her excuse ready. I have an appointment later, so I need to finish early. The guard waves her in without question. Raphael is locked in his office. Carla busy upstairs with Miguel. Beatrice is nowhere to be seen. Every tick of the clock tightens Isadora's chest. At 2:30, Raphael leaves for an urgent meeting. The mansion feels like a stage set, and she knows the curtain is about to rise. Minutes crawl. Then at exactly 3 o'clock, Carla appears at the top of the stairs, a large bag on her shoulder, pushing Miguel's stroller. He sleeps, tiny breaths rising and falling, unaware of the danger. Isadora moves quietly to the back corridor, placing herself squarely in front of the servants' exit. Carla turns the corner and freezes when she sees her. For a split second, her mask slips, and Isadora sees it, the cold, predatory glint. "Step aside," Carla says flatly. "The baby needs fresh air." Isadora's voice trembles but holds. "Not through the back door. Not with that bag." Carla's hand tightens around the strap. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, I do. You're delivering him." Carla's eyes narrow. She drops the stroller handle and pulls a knife from the bag. The metal flashes. "Last chance. Move." Fear slices through Isadora, but she doesn't budge. She has fought harder battles in the streets where she grew up. "No," she whispers. And when Carla lunges, Isadora snatches a broom propped against the wall, swinging with desperate strength. The blade misses her by inches. Wood smacks Carla's arm, and the knife clatters across the floor. Carla snarls, tackling her. They tumble, grappling on the ground. Carla's hand clamps around Isadora's throat, choking, pressing. Darkness sparks at the edges of her vision, but rage fuels her. She kicks, claws, breaks free. Staggering upright, she grips the broom tighter. Carla charges again, but this time Isadora strikes hard against her temple. Carla stumbles, blood dripping. The stroller rattles from the impact. Miguel wakes, wailing. Isadora throws herself between him and Carla, shielding the baby with her body. The door bursts open. "What is happening here?" Raphael's voice cuts like thunder. Security floods the hall. He takes in everything at once. Carla bleeding, the knife on the floor, the stroller tipped, Isadora clutching Miguel to her chest, shaking, wild-eyed. "She was going to take him," Isadora gasps, tears streaking her face. "I heard them, her and Beatrice. They planned everything. She was going to steal your son." Raphael's face goes pale, then hardens into steel. Guards pin Carla down as she spits and thrashes. Isadora, trembling, hands the baby back to Raphael, her hands brushing his. He holds her gaze, voice breaking. "You saved my son." But Beatrice isn't finished, and her next move will strike where no walls can keep danger out. That night the mansion is chaos, police swarming, Carla dragged into custody, Raphael giving a statement with clipped words, every syllable lined with fury. Isadora sits on the edge of the sofa, hands trembling, Lucas and Marina waiting for her at home, unaware of the storm. When the officers finally leave, Raphael approaches her. "You risked your life," he says quietly. She shakes her head. "I couldn't let them take him." Their eyes lock, something unspoken pulsing between them. But before it can surface, Raphael pulls back into formality. "You'll stay here for now. It's safer." The next morning, headlines explode online. MAID stages drama to appear as a savior. Photos of Isadora circulate. Grainy shots of her outside grocery stores, leaving work, holding her siblings' hands. Blogs accuse her of faking the kidnapping, of orchestrating it for money. Neighbors whisper. Lucas returns from school with bruises. Marina cries that classmates called her sister a liar. Isadora's chest burns with shame, though she knows she is innocent. She deletes social media, hides her phone, but the damage spreads like wildfire. This isn't just gossip, it's a campaign. Raphael storms into his lawyer's office. "Beatrice." The name tastes like venom. He hires private investigator Ferreira, a man known for prying open locked doors of power. Ferreira digs into Carla's accounts and finds payments routed through a maze of offshore transfers. But Beatrice is careful, using intermediaries and fake charities. She's buying time, Ferreira warns, and she's using public opinion as a weapon. Raphael returns home, jaw tight, and finds Isadora packing. "I have to leave. It's too much. My siblings—" "No!" Raphael cuts her off, voice firm. "You and your family will stay here. I won't let her touch you." That night, Isadora tucks Miguel into bed. He reaches out, tiny fingers brushing her hand, refusing to let go. Tears sting her eyes. Raphael watches from the doorway, something breaking inside him. He sees how naturally she belongs, how deeply his son trusts her. But Beatrice's shadow looms, poisoning every corner. Later, he admits to Ferreira, if she can't take him by force, she'll try to destroy the only person who can keep him safe. Ferreira nods. "And we'll prove it." Days stretch into weeks. Isadora tries to live quietly in the mansion, cooking for her siblings, helping Miguel, avoiding the cameras waiting outside the gates. But inside, walls close in. She feels trapped between gratitude and danger, between her growing feelings for Raphael and the smear that paints her a criminal. Raphael fights on every front, but even he knows Beatrice won't stop. And when the investigator finally finds the thread that ties everything back to her, the battle will erupt in court. Ferreira works day and night, tracing digital footprints, chasing whispers through encrypted chats. Finally, he calls Raphael. "I found it." He lays out the evidence, a trail of messages between Beatrice and Carla, offshore accounts linked to shell companies, transfers disguised as charity donations. One slip, a careless message from Beatrice's own phone, ties her directly to the kidnapping attempt. Raphael stares at the files, fury boiling. "She used my son as a pawn," Ferreira leans in. "And she'll do worse if we don't act." The police reopen the case, armed with Ferreira's evidence. Carla, faced with mounting charges, cracks under pressure. In a trembling confession, she admits Beatrice orchestrated everything. "She promised me money, a house. She said she'd be the hero." Carla's words are recorded, every syllable a nail in Beatrice's coffin. When prosecutors summon Beatrice for questioning, she arrives draped in elegance, feigning innocence. But Raphael is there, Isadora beside him, and for the first time Beatrice sees it, her control slipping. Her smile falters. The trial begins. The courtroom buzzes with reporters, cameras flashing, every seat filled. Carla takes the stand, voice breaking as she recounts the plan. Julio, the hacker Beatrice hired to spread lies about Isadora, testifies under immunity, his hands shaking. Even the burglar she once paid to break into the mansion turns against her, confessing the payments came from Beatrice's accounts. One by one her allies crumble. Isadora sits silently, clutching a rosary, praying for strength. Raphael squeezes her hand beneath the table, their silent pact stronger than any oath. Beatrice tries to fight back, painting herself as a victim of betrayal, accusing Isadora of manipulating Raphael. "She seduced him, Your Honor. She planned this to replace me." The words drip venom, but the jury sees through her. Photos, bank records, testimonies, they crush her defense. Raphael stands and speaks for the first time, his voice unwavering. "The only person who has cared for my son, who saved his life, is the woman you tried to destroy. And I will never forgive you for what you've done." The courtroom falls silent. After weeks of testimony, the verdict is read. Guilty. Beatrice is sentenced to 22 years in prison. Gasps ripple through the room. She shrieks, clawing at the table, screaming Raphael's name as guards drag her away. Isadora exhales for the first time in months, tears flooding her eyes. Raphael pulls her close, whispering, "It's over." But deep down, they both know the truth. Beatrice's obsession won't fade behind bars. And the next strike will come when they least expect it. Life inside the mansion begins to settle. Miguel laughs more. Lucas and Marina slowly find comfort in the new safety of Rafael's home, and for the first time in years, Isadora feels like she can breathe. Yet at night, when the world quiets, she remembers Beatrice's final scream in the courtroom. It echoes like a warning. This isn't finished. She tucks Miguel in one evening and whispers, "You're safe now, my angel." But her heart isn't fully convinced. Meanwhile, Beatrice, in prison blues, sits in the visitor's room across from her lawyer. Her eyes burn with fury. "I want options. I don't care how. Make her suffer." The lawyer nods carefully, too eager for her wealth to resist. He passes notes to old contacts, arranging small fires outside the walls. A man hired to follow Isadora's siblings, threatening calls late at night, shadows at the gate. Rafael notices the strain in her eyes, the way she double-checks locks before bed. He knows Beatrice's reach hasn't ended. To shield her, Rafael tightens security. Guards now patrol the mansion day and night. He moves Lucas and Marina's schooling to a private tutor inside the property. Isadora resists at first. She doesn't want her siblings trapped, but Rafael's voice is firm. "I won't risk their lives. Or yours." She sees the exhaustion in his eyes, the weight of grief, responsibility, and love colliding. Gratitude softens her resistance. "Thank you," she whispers, her hand brushing his. For a fleeting second, silence wraps them like a confession neither dares to speak aloud. Days turn into weeks, and the unspoken bond deepens. Rafael joins her in the kitchen, clumsy with a knife as he helps chop vegetables, laughing when he cuts uneven slices. She laughs too, shaking her head, the sound echoing through rooms that had forgotten joy. In the garden, she watches him push Miguel's stroller, his expression tender, unguarded. It's in these moments that Isadora sees, not the millionaire, but the man, the father, the wounded heart learning to live again. One evening, a storm pounds the mansion windows. Thunder rattles glass, lightning splits the sky. Isadora steps into the hallway and finds Rafael there, holding Miguel close, the baby crying at the storm. She takes the child, hums softly until he quiets. Rafael's eyes glisten in the dim light. "I don't know what I'd do without you," he murmurs. The confession lingers between them, fragile and dangerous. Isadora's heart leaps, but before she can respond, a guard rushes in. "We caught someone outside the gate." "He had a knife and your photo, Senora." The storm outside is nothing compared to the one Beatrice still stirs within. And this time, her obsession will cost her even more years behind bars. The intruder is dragged into the mansion's security office, his clothes soaked from the storm. On the table, guards lay out his knife and a folded paper, Isadora's photo, marked with a red X. Rafael's blood runs cold. Isadora clutches Miguel tighter, trembling. "Who sent you?" Rafael demands. The man smirks through cracked teeth. "Doesn't matter. She pays well, even from a cell." That single line is enough to shatter any illusion that prison walls could contain Beatrice's reach. The authorities move fast. Herrera delivers the evidence of the hit, tracing payments back to Beatrice's lawyer, who had funneled money through his firm. The lawyer is arrested, his accounts frozen, and the scheme unravels in court. Beatrice is hauled back into the dock, her composure finally fracturing. This time the judge shows no mercy. Her sentence is extended from 22 years to 27, the word echoing like a door slamming shut. As guards drag her away, she hisses Rafael's name one last time, but her voice holds no power now, only desperation. Back at the mansion, life slowly begins to heal. Rafael reinforces security permanently, determined never to risk Isadora or the children again. Yet something inside him shifts too. He no longer sees Isadora as just a protector. She has become the heartbeat of his home. One evening in the nursery, as Miguel drifts to sleep, Rafael turns to her. "I was blind for too long. You are more than I ever deserved, but exactly what we need." His voice cracks, honest and raw. Isadora shakes her head, tears glimmering. "Don't say that." "I'm just—" "No," he interrupts gently, stepping closer. "You're the woman who saved my son, the woman who saved me." His hand brushes hers, hesitant, waiting for her to pull away. But she doesn't, for the first time. She allows herself to imagine a life beyond survival, a life where she is loved, not just needed. The next morning, Lucas and Marina find them in the kitchen, laughing together over burnt toast. Raphael teasing about her coffee being too strong. For the siblings, it's a glimpse of a family they thought impossible. And for Isadora, it's a beginning. But love never grows without trials, and the scars of trauma will test them before joy fully takes root. The mansion slowly transforms from a fortress of fear into a home of laughter. Therapy sessions help Isadora process the near kidnapping, the smear campaign, and years of carrying burdens too heavy for her shoulders. At first, she resists, saying she doesn't have time. But Raphael insists, "You gave so much of yourself to everyone else. Now it's time someone cares for you." In the quiet of the therapist's office, she finally releases tears she's held back for years. Each session strips away shame, leaving space for healing. Meanwhile, Raphael begins to rediscover fatherhood, not just as a responsibility, but as joy. He reads bedtime stories, learns Miguel's favorite lullabies, and even stumbles through silly dances that make the toddler squeal with delight. Isadora watches these moments with quiet awe. This man who once seemed distant, locked in grief, now glows with life. And each time their hands brush, while passing toys, folding clothes, setting the dinner table, the sparks grow harder to ignore. One evening, as the children play in the garden, Raphael finds Isadora watching the sunset. "I used to think love was about possession," he admits. "Beatrice wanted control, but you gave everything without asking for anything back." He hesitates, then adds, "I don't want to lose you." The words hang in the golden air. Isadora's chest tightens, equal parts fear and hope. "You won't," she whispers. And when he leans in, the kiss is soft, trembling, but full of promise. Months later, whispers ripple through the mansion. Lucas catches them holding hands. Marina teases Isadora about her glowing smile. Even Miguel toddles over with a flower plucked from the garden, pressing it into her palm like a blessing. By the time Raphael kneels in the park where they first found peace, asking her to marry him, the answer is already written in her eyes. She says yes, tears spilling, as Miguel claps and squeals in delight. The wedding is not a spectacle, but an intimate gathering in a small chapel. Candles flicker, violins play softly, and Isadora walks down the aisle with Lucas at her side, Marina scattering petals before them. Raphael waits at the altar, eyes wet, heart bare. Their vows are simple, woven with gratitude and hard-won hope. When they kiss, the applause is more than sound. It is healing, it is justice, it is the rebirth of two souls who survived the storm. But even in peace, the past lingers like a shadow, waiting for its final goodbye. Years pass, and the mansion no longer carries echoes of fear. Instead, it vibrates with life, children's laughter spilling through hallways, the smell of Sunday lunches filling the kitchen, music drifting from the garden. Lucas grows into a young man with a sharp mind for engineering. Marina becomes a confident student leader, and Miguel, once abandoned in a crib, blossoms into a curious boy full of light. And when a new baby girl arrives, named Helena in honor of Raphael's late wife, the circle feels complete. Pain turned into remembrance, love reborn. Isadora thrives as well. She pursues her dream of nursing, inspired by the care she once gave out of survival, now turned into a profession of passion. She wears her uniform with pride, walking into hospitals with the same strength she once used to shield a child from danger. Raphael, watching her, knows she is not just the mother of his children. She is the anchor that rebuilt him. And in return, he chooses to give back the one thing he once sacrificed: time. One spring morning, Raphael announces his decision. "I'm selling the company," Isadora gasps. "But it's your legacy." He smiles, shaking his head. "My family is my legacy. I wasted years chasing numbers, hiding from grief. Now I want to be here for every step, every laugh, every dream." The children cheer, unaware of the weight behind his words, and Isadora hugs him with tears in her eyes, grateful for a love that puts them first. Meanwhile, far away, Beatrice sits in a grey prison cell. The world has moved on without her. Her family disowned her, her fortune drained, her name forgotten. Once draped in silk and diamonds, she now stares at cracked walls and hears only silence. Letters to Raphael go unanswered, appeals denied. In the dim light of her cell, she whispers his name, but it carries no echo. She's a ghost of her own making, trapped in the consequences she once thought she could escape. The final scene returns to the mansion garden. Raphael and Isadora sit on a blanket, Helena sleeping between them, Miguel chasing Marina with laughter ringing out, Lucas sketching plans for a bridge he dreams of building. Raphael leans close, whispering, "We made it." Isadora smiles, resting her head on his shoulder. The camera lingers on the family framed by sunlight, then fades. Did Beatrice get what she deserved? Do you think Isadora and Raphael built a beautiful family? Tell me in the comments. See you in the next story.